crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, we're going to talk some
Possibly.
Sixers here. We're going to get positive about that in a second, but you got to start at the top when you talk Philly. And of course, that's Joel Embiid. And his second half of this game was pretty abysmal. Look, he looked tired. He was settling for some pretty ugly shots. He got 2 points, I think, in the whole second half. Chandler, look, everyone's got their opinions on whether or not the Joel Embiid we want to see and we have seen will ever come back. Do we start just sort of deciding like this is it? This is kind of how it's going to be.
Well, if you're Philly, no, because you need him to get to that ultimate level, of success this season. And again, help is on the way. We talked about Jared McCain gets in the lineup last night. He was a little rusty, but we know how good he can be. Paul George, we know the type of player he is, but what version are we going to get of him? Those are questions for Philly. The big looming question is how good can Joel be? How many games can he play? How long can he stay on the floor? And he's shown signs of greatness this year. He's also shown signs of just going through the motions and not that dominant Shaq type force that we've seen in previous seasons, especially that MVP season. So it's a big question. And obviously there's a huge hole there without him in the lineup, without giving you 25, 30 minutes a game. They do have other pieces to kind of make up for it. They have arguably the best dynamic scoring backcourt in the NBA with VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey. The start that they've got offensively is unbelievable. But for me, when we start talking about contenders and, home court advantage teams, they're going to need a better version of Joel Embiid than we've seen right now. And to the eye, he doesn't look right. And it sucks because it's my boy and I know him and I love him. Something's off, and it's you don't see that aggression, you don't see that dominant give me the ball. You haven't really seen that. You've seen flashes of it, but you haven't seen it consistent. And the way he's moving, he doesn't look fully healthy to me, and that's a little bit concerning. That's always going to be the question. Similar questions with New Orleans, with Zion, with the injury history there. You have those same fears with Joel Embiid. So I'm hoping he can find ways to continue to stay in the lineup and stay on the floor because they need him. And just personally, he's a stud, and I want to see him play at that level. But he's been very inconsistent, and I don't think he's fully healthy.
Yeah, the pros and cons that I see, the pros are he knows that he's in limited minutes. So he's very aggressive in his limited minutes, knowing that he's going to play in 4 to 5 minute stints. So he's giving you what he can give you, being Joel Embiid, and that's an elite score at every spot of the floor in the half court. The cons to that is it looked like it's hard for him to move out there. Even on the defensive end to start this game, Vucevic gets a drive-by dunk because he can't slide his feet. Then he gets a three-pointer because you can't get out and contest. It's like something isn't right. His knee isn't right. His knee isn't giving him, that speed that we're used to him seeing, him being as agile as we're used to him seeing. You just don't see that pop. Like the 76ers, they're playing in transition and they're kind of waiting for him to get down the floor so they can set up their half-court sets and have him involved in that. Those are my cons. Just looks like he can't really move right now. He doesn't have that mobility that we're used to Joel Embiid having. Now, again, when we get into the half court, it's not a lot of people that's going to be able to stop him, but he's also settling for jump shots as well. So that tells me he can't get to the rim and make the moves that he wants to make, but instead he's settling for a lot of jump shots and he's living and dying by that jump shot. I don't know how sustainable this is going to be for the 76ers. Hopefully this is something as the season go on, he gets better, he gets more healthy, and all of these guys that's coming in and out of the lineup, you can be able to mesh all of these things together and have a successful run with Joel Embiid being in the lineup. But I don't know what happens if he can't get that knee to the level that he wants it to be. Now, as far as him being a world talent, that's going to go as far as his knee is going to go. If his knee allows him some separation to get away from defenders and for him to be able to defend, you obviously have to add his name to the list of guys. But as you know, Chandler, and as you know, Beadle, the game grows and the game moves on from all of our guys. Every year we're talking about a new young guy being a star, at whether it's the guard position or the power forward or the center. All of these young guys are starting to create names for themselves, and the game waits for no man, Joel Embiid included. So if he can get healthy, he's always going to be a top world player. But in the position that he's in and the condition that his knee is in, it's just it's hard to say that right now, especially when he's only playing 20 to 25 minutes in a night.
Yeah, you hit it on the head. It's definitely such, what have you done for me lately? And what standards and expectations do we have for Joel Embiid that he doesn't look great physically, just to the naked eye when we're watching him play? At the end of the day, he's playing 23 minutes a game, and he's still averaging 18, 5, and 3. Think about what player would we not be okay with doing that? Damn near averaging a point a minute a game. It's just Joel has set the bar so high, and he's such a dominating force that the 42% from the field shows me that he's settling. He's taking the little face-up jumpers. He's not being that aggressive, get to the rim, finish on your head, get to the free throw line even more. I don't want to see him start settling into a jump shooter. And that when your body fails you, that's the easiest thing to do, is to do that. So when you look at his numbers, 18 points a game and 23 minutes is not bad. It's just we're so accustomed to him being so dominant and so aggressive and having that zip and that energy, and we have not seen that this year. But numbers-wise, it's fine, but there's still so much more for him to do and him to be, and the Sixers are going to need it. But 42% from the field for a guy his size and his physicality just isn't good enough.
I think it's also, we all say hopefully, and if his knee and, his health, and it's counterintuitive to think it's going to get better because we're in it. Like, we're in the season now. So for it to get better just feels like that's not logical, but we're holding out hope. We are going to do positives though, because they are 5-2 after all. I mean, it makes it sound like it's all negatives. It's definitely not. They're second place in the Eastern Conference. And as we've mentioned, Paul George has yet to come back, and Jared McCain just did. Right. So they're going to get a lot healthier, Lou. We just talked Chicago, who's sitting up top in the East. Is this a team that really could actually come out of the East as the best?
A lot of positives. You in a league full of scoring guards, you got one of the best ones in uniform for you. If you're the 76ers and Tyrese Maxey, you like where VJ Edgecombe is coming along and what he's been able to do as a rookie. You enjoyed Jared McCain last year, his impact in his rookie campaign, and him coming back and getting healthy. Paul George is yet to get in the lineup. Joel Embiid is still one of the more dominant big men in the league when he's in the lineup. So he's trying to give you everything that he can give you in the 23 minutes a game that he has. You got a lot of different things that's working in your favor if you're the 76ers, and it's shown early in the season. I don't panic with some of the adversity that they have like we did last year, because everything hit at one time. It was Joel went out, Jared McCain went out, PG went out, and then the wheels fall off. You don't have that now. You have a guard that's playing at an all-star level, at a superstar level. He's playing with hella confidence. Like, the first shot of the game last night for Tyrese Maxey was a fadeaway three-pointer off a screen and roll. And I'm like, man, do you know how much confidence in your ability do you have to have for that to be your warm-up shot to get going in the game? And cashed it out. And then his next shot was just as tough. So when you have a guard that's playing at a confidence level that high, he's going to give you a chance to win a lot of basketball games. He's going to give you a lot of chances to compete night in and night out. So I feel really comfortable about where the 76ers are and their chances to stay at the top of the East, especially if they can stay healthy. Now, that's been the biggest caveat for this team, is staying healthy. Right now, they're in a good spot with everybody coming back, being in uniform, opposed to going the opposite way and guys going out of uniform and then putting them in a tough position. So I feel really comfortable with saying right now, at this point in the season, as early as it is, that the 76ers are the real deal.
Yeah, and I think they're going to continue to get better, right? No matter what version of Paul George we get, no matter Jared McCain's going to help. Joel Embiid, it's almost whatever he gives you. If he can get to that level, it's almost a bonus at this point. But to me, Kelly Oubre, he's been the X factor. He's played all games, started all games, averaged 19 and 6. He's consistent. He's been efficient from the field. He's always kind of been that solid two-way player. So to me, he's kind of been that consistent, valuable asset with all these questions, with all these injuries. Him, and obviously besides this backcourt with Edgecombe and Maxey that have been tremendous, those three guys have really carried the load. And again, if you told them, 2 weeks ago that they'd be 5-2, considering the circumstances, everything they've been through, they would take that 10 times out of 10. So they are for real, and they're going to continue to get more healthy and better.
One of the later games last night out here in Los Angeles, Thunder